contest masters, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. One of the defining moments of my life took place in a public restroom. I was at the Frank Irwin Special Events Center at a concert. I had been looking forward to it for months. I had a fourth row seat, and I was in that seat an hour before the concert started. 10 minutes before showtime, nature called. I'm a mature adult. I can wait till intermission. 5 minutes later, nature called louder and refused to take no for an answer. When I got to the ladies' room, my worst fears were confirmed. It was a mob scene. Getting in and out of there and back to my seat in time for the start of the show was impossible. I was ever so busy feeling sorry for myself when the woman standing behind me in line yelled at the top of her lungs, "Ladies, let's work together. Everybody unbuckle, unbutton, unzip before you get into the stall. When you get in, do your thing, then come out and put yourself back together out here. Come on, let's help each other." You talk about your communication and leadership skills. That line started moving at warp speed. I was back in my fourth row seat at 1 minute till 8. And let me state for the record, Barry Manilow was spectacular. Well, let's go back to the ladies' room for a minute. Let's look at the difference between me and the woman who was standing behind me in line. I had concluded there was nothing I could do. She concluded it was time to do something creative. Ever since that day, when I catch myself thinking that there's nothing I can do to solve my problem, I challenge myself to think again. No, Amy, it's not impossible. You just haven't looked hard enough. You haven't dug deep enough. You haven't considered all your options, including the weird ones and the wild ones. Think outside the stall. To achieve the impossible, you have to be creative. It was December 17th, 1903. A crowd gathered in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, to watch a couple of fools pursue a fool's dream. Wilbur and Orville Wright had built yet another contraption, and yet again, they were going to try to make it fly, even though everyone knew this was impossible. Well, finally, on that historic day, that contraption did fly. How do you go about deciding that you're going to do the impossible? I imagine that Orville and Wilbur Wright put their heads together and determined the potential was there. They understood the principles of flight. They understood the principles of design. They had access to new sources of power, and they were determined to succeed. Next, they had to commit to a trial and error process that would involve dangerous experiments and repeated public failure. Something most people would be afraid to take on. No matter what it is you're trying to accomplish in life, writing a book, building a house, looking for love, the trial and error process can be brutal, especially the error part. But the Wright brothers embraced the trial and error process because they knew it was the only way to succeed. They were engineers. They lived to experiment. They were not afraid to fail. In fact, the greatest achievers in this world fail more than anyone. Remember that. And next time you fail, just think, yes, this is what champions do. They fail, and they learn from their failures, and they refine their processes, and they come back smarter and stronger than ever. To achieve the impossible, you have to be unafraid to fail. You have to be fearless. It was a sunny day on Sesame Street. Ernie was stacking blocks. The first block was standing on its point. The second block was touching the first block, but it was over to the side, and it appeared to be dangling in thin air. The third block, standing on its point on top of the second block. Just then Bert came along. "What you doing, Ernie?" "I'm stacking blocks, Bert." "You can't stack blocks like that, Ernie." "But I am stacking blocks like that, Bert." "Ernie, you can't. It's against the law of gravity. It's impossible." "But Bert, I believe in the blocks, and the blocks believe in me." "Ernie." Bert walked off in a huff. Came back a minute later with a book on gravity. "Look, Ernie, these are facts." "Oh, I guess you're right, Bert." And the blocks came tumbling down. Ernie walked away. Bert was left standing all alone. "Kind of wish I hadn't won that argument." Has anyone ever made it so clear that facts are overrated? The facts don't always deserve top billing, especially when there are other, more powerful forces at work. To achieve the impossible, you have to believe the impossible. And why shouldn't you? Impossible things are happening every day. An email circling the world in seconds. A heart transplant saving a life. A teenager saying thank you. Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests, nothing is impossible. If you can be creative, if you can be fearless, and if you can believe, then nothing is impossible.